couldn't catch me, I'll be moving fast. Call me a shooting star. Let 'em know who you are. Flying up in a bar, wish on a star. Time to show 'em who's in charge. Call me a shooting star. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
I'm moving too far. Get to glass. Looking at a shooting star. Got more than a couple of people going mad. I swear they're rooting hard. Tell them I'd be big in the game like she went and got them breast implants. I said I'm moving too fast, didn't even get to glance. I'm ready to eat up track like I'm seated in a restaurant. If you had swag like mine, you know it's best to flaunt. We aren't hating because you aren't. Shining like it's neon, rock like kings of Leon. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Shooting stars across the galaxy. I stand out, so don't be mad at me. Infiltrate, I'm with my strategy. When I turn up, then I just have to leave. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting. Yeah, shooting shots. Shooting stars.
Didn't even get to cross.
Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away, Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.
Good morning. If you are from the UK or Europe, if not, good afternoon or good evening. How you doing, people? Hope you're well. It's another day. Spurs story goes on. What will happen today? What will be the breaking news? What will be the latest drama? We will find out soon. As always in the morning, green tea with jasmine. It's the way forward, people. Taylors of Harrogate. That's the name of the tea. If you haven't got one, get one. Let's see who's with us. Say a quick hello to a few people. Got Looker in the house. Big up, Eugene. How you doing? We've got Billy in the house. How you doing? Big up to you. Morning, Stel. Jasmine green tea 100. Morning, Stel. What did you have for breakfast? I don't have breakfast till after I go to the gym, so I'm going to have breakfast a bit later. I do this kind of... it's not a fast, but I don't eat for 12 hours because... I guess it is a fast, but it helps me to relax the gut a little bit. You've got to change the way you live, William, as you get older. That's the thing, you see. Big up to Ben. How you doing? Bob Barracks in the house. Sammy Mehmet, how are you doing? Guys, listen, I hope you're all well. Don't know what you've got planned for your days ahead, but I hope you've got good things planned today. If you get a chance, please hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. You know the drill, people. You know the drill. You know how we do. I wasn't planning on doing a video today, but um, yesterday I was on the Monday night podcast show. I was talking about the academy, and I can't remember who I said it to, but I said to one of the guys, "What's the point of our academy?" Because of the way we're behaving in the transfer window, and it got me thinking. Let me do a small deep dive into it and see exactly what is the situation with our academy. Big up to Tony, big up to Ben. Swifty in the house. How you doing? Hope you're good. Sub to Tottenham on tour and here. Yep, sub to Tottenham on tour as well, guys. Big up Brian, Ben, Ryan, all the guys over there. Gary, how you doing? Leo and Lego. Great name. Yeah, so let's have a look. Let's have a look where we're at. Our academy. For those of you that don't know, a couple of years ago, we invested about £40 million and we built a brand new state-of-the-art academy. Now, this is an aerial view of the academy. So you can see there's about 14 pitches, and you've got the academy building in the middle. If we zoom in a bit, the building at the back is the academy, and the building on the right-hand side is like an L shape. The building on the right-hand side is the first team training facility. And then the big kind of curved dome in the middle is the indoor AstroTurf dome. We zoom in a bit more. You can see the dome. At the back is the academy. To the right is the first team training facility. It's a wonderful, wonderful complex. State-of-the-art, modern, very clinical, fresh. This is behind the academy. There's a 3G pitch, 7-a-side, 9-a-side, 11-a-side pitches. That kind of brown looking structure on the end, that's brand new. That's a media center that they've built. So they control us on YouTube and Twitter, and all the fake Spurs accounts run from that building right there. I'm not even joking. That is the media building. Just off the main building, they built a hotel. This is where guests stay. This is where players and manager might stay if they're going to do 2 or 3 days of training back to back and they just want to stay on site. Sometimes other teams, international teams, come and stay at Spurs and they train, and that's the hotel they've got there. This is inside the dome at night time. I've been in this a few times now. This is during the daytime. All the sunlight comes through the roof. It's a nice venue. Here's some academy players walking through the complex. Believe it or not, here's our academy. These are the under-18s last season winning the League Cup. So you get the idea, right? Modern, state-of-the-art academy designed for developing players and for our first team as well. Big up, Robbie. How you doing? Daniel, how you doing? Henry Thong TV, how you doing? Daniel's in the house. Big up. So, look, over the last 20 years, I think it's fair to say that as an academy, we haven't really developed much talent for the first team. Okay. The only players really that we've developed that have been really, really good are Ledley King and Harry Kane. They're the only two players that have come at the academy. We can say, wow, what an amazing football player. Yes, Harry Winks has come through. Yes, Oliver Skip has come through. Winks, it started off well, but it fizzled out. But the academy did its job. The academy got the player to Premier League level. What happens thereafter is not the responsibility of the academy. That's the first team. Oliver Skip, he's just now kind of in the main for on a regular basis. So let's see with Skip. A lot of fans have written him off already, but I think it's too early to judge, but fans will have their own opinions. Has the academy failed? That's the question. Okay. What is the point of the academy? But let's start off with, has the academy failed? Well, let's have a look. Has the academy failed? So over recent months, recent years, a lot of our academy players have left the club because they feel that long term Spurs isn't working out for them and they're better off going somewhere else. Now, this is entirely on Tottenham. This is our fault as a club because we're not recognizing that we need to let our players who've been taught the Spurs way in the Spurs academy to go out on loan. We don't loan out our players enough. Also, the academy players don't see a route into the first team at Spurs because they're not getting enough minutes. So just a few players that we've let go that a lot of people might think, you know what, they were good enough. Keenan Bennett's, Anoni Madueke, who's doing really well, by the way. Marcus Edwards, who scored against us in the Champions League last season. Dennis Sirkin, who was a very promising fullback, and Dylan Markande. So they're just a few players, to name some, who were good but didn't evolve because either we didn't loan them out, we didn't give them enough minutes, and they ended up going. Half of them are doing really well. So the question is, what's the point of the academy? What's the point of developing players if we're not going to use them? And of the last, 5 years, we've spent, I think, £500 million, maybe more, buying players in. Well, the academy players aren't expensive. And I'll show you in a minute. What some fans don't realize is the purpose of the academy isn't just to develop players for the first team. So this might help us answer the question, what's the point of the academy? So the Spurs Academy essentially does three things. Number one, what most fans look at, is to develop players for the first team. Ledley King, Harry Kane, Oliver Skipp, you get the idea. The second is to develop players for the reserve team or become a squad player. So they're the players that you don't really see playing the first team much, but they're in and around the club. If we need to call on them, they're there. So normally they're third or fourth choice players. They're the ones that end up either leaving or just hanging around and not really developing much. And then number three, they make money for the club. So the academy is actually a business. It's an income generator because we make money if we sell from a transfer. I remember us getting £10 million for Cole Norton a few years ago. Well, quite a few years ago. So just to recap, the academy is there so we can develop players for the first team, develop players for the reserve squad, and to sell on. So we specifically develop players to sell on and make on. Sorry, I think I cut out there for a minute there. Just note that 25% of the Tottenham Hotspur stadium that was built, the new stadium, not including the loan, I'm just talking about the money the club used from its own pockets, from its own cash reserves. 25% of that money that went to the stadium actually came from the academy selling and loaning players. Just think about that. 25% of the money we put down came just from the academy, generating money for the club. So it makes you think now, well, hold on. As fans, we want to see the academy develop players for the first team. It's not really doing that at the moment. Well, the academy is, but something's not working. The players aren't feeding into that first team. They're not getting enough minutes. So they're leaving us. But 25% of the money that the academy has earned. Sorry, 25% of the stadium build, not including loans, came from the academy generating money. So is it a case, when we ask the question, what is the point of the Spurs Academy? Is the answer, well, the point of our academy is option 3, to make money for the club. Is that the primary objective? Is that the main achievement of our academy? There's a strong argument to say yes. Check this out, okay? Harry Kane. Let's assume that we sell him to Bayern Munich. I just imagine that Harry Kane is about to be sold to Bayern Munich. Harry Kane spent 10 years in the academy. He came through our academy. The cost to run the academy each year is roughly £2.5 million. Okay, £2.5 million per year. There's roughly 250 players in the academy. So the cost per player, if you take the 2.5 million, you divide it by the 250, that's £10,000 per player. So for Spurs to have a player in the academy costs £10,000 per year. These figures are approximate, by the way. They're not spot on, but they're there or thereabouts. So to have Harry Kane in the academy cost us roughly £10,000 per year. He was there for 10 years, so 10,000 times 10. It cost us £100,000 to develop Harry Kane. £100,000 was the cost to develop one of the best strikers in world football. Now, if we sell Kane for 100 million, the profit will be 100 million. What Bayern? Let's assume that's what they pay minus the 100k to develop him. That is £99.9 million profit. So just imagine the purpose of the academy, option 3, to make money for the club. Well, the academy could potentially earn £99.9 million for the club. Although it's not just the academy who developed the player, it's also going to be the first team, right? You can't just say it's the academy, but that's where it began. 10 years of development in the academy was the foundation blocks for Kane. So ask yourself this question. Is the Spurs Academy more about trying to find a way to earn money, or is it more about trying to develop a player? The problem I've got is, if it is about money, then a lot of that money is going back into buying other players. So we spent £500 million in the last 4 or 5 years. The academy has not generated that kind of money. No chance. Not even close. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense for the academy to make, let's say, £50 million, £100 million, if you're going to go and spend £500 million on players. Surely you should just focus more on developing the players. It's a weird setup at Spurs. I can't make sense of it. But if we look at the now, today, the new culture, Postecoglou, what direction do you think we're going in now? For me, I don't think it's changing. And we'll go through it. I just want to quickly catch up with some of the comments. Looks like a resort. It doesn't. This photo here definitely looks like a resort. 100%. This looks more like an academy, right? This looks like an academy, but this one here definitely looks like a resort. Stel, did you ever go to the old Spurs Lodge? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Morning. Great. Looking forward to the Barca game. Yes, we'll be doing a watch along tonight. Dane Scarlett should start. Let's see with Skip. This is why you win nothing and you will continue to win nothing. Yeah, but your mindset of writing off players who haven't really worked under one manager for a long period of time is wrong. You don't understand youth football if that's what you think, Stefan. Madueke is at Chelsea now. I know they were looking at buying him. Stefan, compare the academy players that have left Arsenal. You produce nothing still. It's a fact. Arsenal have Akpom, Benakur, Balogun, Gnabry. No, Spurs do produce players. The problem with our players is it's the final hurdle from kind of the age of 18 to 21, that 3-year gap is a disaster. Spurs completely mismanage it at the moment. Still, none of those players are as good as Dane or Alfie. Well, you don't know that because Dane or Alfie have not broken into the first team yet. And Madueke is a very good player. So Sirkin. But again, you can't judge a player when they're really young. It's impossible. You can't do that. Unless they burst onto the scene with fire and you think, wow, what a talent. 21, 22, that's when you really begin to see what they're about. But then you've got to look at the environment they're in. And the environment at Spurs for the last 4 years has not been good. Also, we sold Carter's Vickers, Winks, Skippy. Our academy isn't great. That's what, no, it is good. It is good. The academy is good. The problem is the development phase from 18 to 21. That bridge is a problem. And that's a very important part because that bridge is maturing from youth to adult. The jump from youth to adult is a big one. From kids football to men's football is a big jump. And we are failing our players at that stage. Do I think every Spurs Academy player is good? Of course not. No, I don't. But there are enough players, 1 or 2 every couple of years that should be going into that first team, and we're not doing it. Partly because we keep changing manager, partly because we don't know what we want to achieve as a club. Is it top 4? Is it trophies? Is it a long-term project? Is it short-term gains? Partly because every manager that comes to us is under pressure to get top 4 instantly and not actually develop or build a team. The mindset of Spurs is utterly wrong, and it starts from the top. I've always said this. This is why I don't like Daniel Levy. It's why I don't like Enoch. But everyone's got their views and opinions. Carl Norton came from Sheffield United, not Spurs. Carl Norton came into our academy at a younger age. I think it was 14, 15, and then we sold him on. So technically, he is an academy player. Mark Swift, you would think the academy would be top of the list as Levy does not like buying players from other clubs. Yes, you would think so, right? You would think so. How many have not been brought from other academies that have made it all the way into the first team of every squad, proper homegrown, not bought from elsewhere? So what age must they start in the academy, Hanzo, for them to be classed as an academy player in your eyes? What age? With transfer fees now, the youth should be the most important aspect of the club. I agree, but it's not. And I'm going to show you why I'm worried about where we're going. Hit the like and subscribe. Yes, please, guys. Please like and subscribe to the channel. Much appreciate your support and help. I forgot all about Norton. Must be a distant relative of Davison Sanchez. Very good. Can be a channel member for only $1. William Leone. I think Divine will be the next one to leave. If we lose Divine, that's a good player that we've lost. Mark says the last 2 managers, Jose and Conte, blocked young players pathways to the first team. I disagree. And I'm going to show you why, Mark. And then afterwards, tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. Big up, Stel. Great educational show as always. Keep it up. Thank you, John. When's the last time Spurs won a Youth Cup? Last year. Last year, the under-18s won the Premier League Cup. There you go. We've got good players, guys. Tottenham have got good young players. We really do. I'm not just trying to say it. Why would I don't gain anything from lying. We've got good players. But we're lacking the development from youth to adult. Tottenham Raid, big up. Tottenham Raid. Oh, Tottenham on Tour Raid, sorry. Thank you, Tottenham on Tour. Appreciate the support. Big up to Brian, Ryan, and Ben from Tottenham on Tour. James says, big up still. I joined the protest this week from Norwich. It was nice to meet Iggy. Love the guy. Yeah, Iggy's top guy, man. Iggy's a top guy. Jay Rayson says, Stel, Timber looks phenomenal, and he was playing out wide position. Why didn't Spurs go in for him? Why did Spurs do anything? Billy says, I went to the old rented training ground in Mill Hill in the 90s. There were public playing fields where anyone could just... Yeah, those days were a bit different, right? Dave Scarlett's our next Harry Kane. Maybe, we don't know. Sorry, man. Carl Norton was born in 98 and joined Spurs in 19 when he joined Spurs. Is it Carl Norton then? Maybe I'll question my wiles. Look, I'm not going to disagree with you. There was a player we sold from our academy for £10 million. He was a defender. I'll do my research and find out tomorrow. I'll let you know tomorrow. I'll look at it. I do remember. Why I've said Carl Norton, I don't know. Dorrington, Donnelly, Moore have it all, but that's not enough. They must be correctly mature. Well, we're going to get into this, guys. Let me get into the next stage of what I wanted to say. So for those of you that have just joined us, thank you so much. Appreciate you joining us. Who's the best player in the Youth Academy, Stel? By the way, you need a new hat. Why? I like this hat. No, I'm not changing my hat. Did you knew about my name, Dylan Mokande at Academy? Yeah, Mokande, I covered him already. Let me just recap for those of you that have just joined. So I basically said, is the academy failing? I listed some players: Bennett Madwiki, Edward Serki, Mokande, who have been moved on because we didn't loan them or they didn't think there was a future here. And then I explained the academy isn't just to develop players, it's to develop players for the reserve team and to make money by selling players. 25% of the new stadium build, not including loans, came from the academy selling players. And then I explained, if we sell Harry Kane, we will make a £99.9 million profit on what it cost us to develop him, which is basically number three, make money from potential transfers. Although the academy isn't fully responsible because the first team has contributed massively to it as well. But you get the point. He's come from the academy, cost us nothing. We can make a massive profit. What I've done, I want to move on from that. I've looked at every position in the club: goalkeeper, defender, midfield, and forwards. And I've looked at the current players we've got, what academy players potentially can step up and go into that role. But at the same time, players that we're buying, which puts another barrier in front of the academy players trying to progress. So I want to begin with the goalkeepers, all right? So when we look at the goalkeeping situation at Spurs, we've got Hugo Lloris, Fraser Forrester. Fraser Forrester's homegrown. Lloris is 36 years old. Fraser Forrester's 35. In the academy, we've got Brandon Austin. His dad's American, but he was raised here, Brandon, so he's a homegrown player, 24. And Alfie Whiteman, 24. Two young goalkeepers. Both have played for England youth. So you're looking to replace Hugo. You're looking to replace Fraser Forrester. Well, guess what? You've got Austin and Whiteman. What does Spurs go and do? We go and sign Vicario, a young goalie from Italy for 26. What for? Why have we done that? Why have we gone and signed Vicario? When Antonio Conte and Mourinho were here, the criticism was they don't develop youngsters. They don't bring through the academy players. They don't care about the academy. This was the criticism many Spurs fans said about Jose Mourinho and Conte. Someone said it earlier on in the comments. I said, no, not quite. I disagree with this. I totally disagree with this thing about Conte and Jose not developing players. I think Jose and Conte came here to win trophies very quickly, and they didn't have time to embrace the academy, develop them, teach them over time, and in 3 years' time, you get really good players. Because it takes time. These things take time. Well, now Postecoglou's here. I've been told, he's different. He's more front foot dynamic. I agree. The football looks much better, but he's going to bring through the academy players and the youth are going to thrive. Well, since he's been here, just with the goalkeeping situation, Brandon Austin got 45 minutes in one game. Alfie Whiteman hasn't had a look in, but Vicario is now our starting goalkeeper. Vicario is a barrier. He's a block stopping the academy players breaking into the first team. So if you're Brandon Austin, you're Alfie Whiteman, you're thinking, how do I break into the team when you're buying another young player who isn't from the academy to take my place? So can you see the point I'm trying to make here? Where's the change? Where's this big, we're going to push the academy? Where is it? Does that make sense? And by the way, it's not just the goalkeepers. Let's move on to the defence. On the left, we've got
Centre backs. On the right, we've got full backs or wing backs. So the current centre backs we've got are Christian Romero, Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Davinson Sanchez, and Joe Rodon. Some are homegrown, some are not. Average age is about 27, 28. Okay. Then we've got in the academy Japhet Tanganga, who's the oldest of the academy players, but we've got Charlie Sawyers and Alfie Dorrington, both 18, 19, homegrown. So we want to get rid of Davinson Sanchez and Joe Rodon. So is this a chance to give Japhet Tanganga more chance or to bring through Alfie Dorrington or Charlie Sayers? Yes, it is. But what have Spurs done? We've gone and signed Mickey van der Ven, 22, another youngster. And we've signed Ashley Phillips, another youngster. So rather than bringing through the academy players, we've gone and bought players that put a barrier, an obstacle in between academy players getting a chance in the first team. So how are we giving the academy players a chance? We're not. It's not happening, is it? And when you look at the fullbacks, we've got Pedro Porro, Chicken Royale, Sergio Reguilon, Sessegnon, and Jed Spence. Average age is 23. 2 homegrown players. Then you're looking at fullbacks in the academy. Well, you've got Maxwell McKnight, Josiah Linton, and Terrell Ashcroft, 18, 19. But what does Spurs go and do? Do we push one of them through? No. We go and sign Destiny the Doji, another barrier, another obstacle in the way of the academy players. I would love someone to show me, someone to tell me how the culture is changing at Spurs regarding the academy. And I go back to the question of this whole show. What's the point of the Spurs academy? Because clearly, when you see the barrier between the light blue and the white, so the light blue is academy, the white is the first team, the red is the barrier, we're bringing in more obstacles. We're putting more obstacles in the way. What's the point? Well, the point of an academy is to develop first team players, build up your reserve squad, make money for the club for potential transfers. Well, we're clearly not doing number one. We're kind of doing number two. I think it's about making money. I think the academy is more about making money than what it is about developing players for the first team, which makes no sense because the money you make from selling players in an academy isn't even close to the money you end up spending on transfers. Mickey van der Ven, right? Mickey van der Ven, at 22 years old, is going to cost us between 35 and 40 million pounds. Do you know how many academy players we would have to sell to recoup that money? Quite a few. It doesn't make sense, guys. I'll go on to the midfielders and I'll go on to the forwards in a minute, but I just want to see what you guys think because I can't understand it. I'm at a point now where I don't understand the point of the Spurs academy. We might as well just shut it down. There's a player at Celta Vigo that's incredible name is Viega, now heading to Napoli for 30 million, yet big clubs just sleep. Next he'll go for 120 million. We're talking about the academy, by the way. Our first team age is lowering from players now being bought. So would that not help the academy players as would be alongside similar? No, it wouldn't help the academy players because the academy players need to learn from experience. But the academy players, most importantly, need game time. They need more minutes in the first team, Paul. Most important, you ask any player, what do you need more than anything else? Matches. I need to play matches. That's the key thing. Morning, JJ. Hope you're well. C Cubed, you need more hats. Something red. Guna red looks good on you. Yeah, vomit green looks quite nice on you as well, Cubed. Danny says, any thoughts on Sam Amayo? Saints are saying he's the best player since Bale. What about, listen, I want to talk about our academy players because I don't understand what we're doing, guys. I worked it out. It was Carl Walker-Peters, same first name That is why it was sold for 12. They're well done. Well done. Carl Walker-Peters. I knew there was something. Thank you, Leo and Nego. Carl Walker-Peters. Yeah, that was 3-4 years ago, wasn't it? Carl Higgins. Well done for that, by the way. Good memory. Carl Higgins says, morning, Stel and chat. Chat Louise, 36 years old by the 4th of 35. Still, I'm coping pelters from people saying we don't need to sell Kane and it won't be a loss because we didn't buy him, so he's effectively not worth selling. Well, if we sell Harry Kane, like I've already said, we're going to make 99.9 million pounds worth of profit. Harry Kane only cost us 100k to develop. Look, personally, going off topic a bit because we are talking about the academy, but Harry Kane, if you sell your best players, I don't see how you improve. I've never understood that. You should add quality to the quality you've got, not sell your quality, then try and rebuild. To me, it's a backward step, but just my opinion. I think we should have played him more. Carl Walker-Peters, we should never have sold him. I said it at the time. Remember Zeki Fries and John Bostock? I think Zeki Fries we got from Man United in exchange for us selling Berbatov, right? Bostock had a good rep at Palace. John Bostock, another Spurs player. Won't these young guys be Vicaria's backup? Yeah, but that's the point. They're the backup. They're not getting minutes. You can only break into the first team if you get minutes. Surely they should have been Lloris's backup. But instead of Lloris's backup, we brought in Fraser Forrester. So again, they don't get a chance. So these youngsters, they're Lloris's backup, then they're Fraser Forrester's backup, now they're Vicario's backup. They're always the backup. This is the problem. They're not getting minutes. It doesn't make sense. No other club, no other club's blood youth keepers, not a fair comparison. Which is not a fair comparison. They're academy players that aren't getting a chance. That's the point, isn't it? They're not getting a chance. 0 point to sell young players could be an idea. Heaven save some patience. He has to start with seniors, then bring in the youngsters over time. Cannot believe you don't see it. Well, I can't believe that you don't see that the youngster's already there and he's brought in a youngster. Your comment, you've literally just contradicted yourself with what you said. You've literally contradicted yourself. Have some patience. He has to start with seniors. Well, he's not starting with seniors because Lloris and Forrester aren't playing anymore. So that bit's wrong. Then bring in some youngsters. Well, the youngsters are there. They're called Austin and Alfie Whiteman. Instead, he's gone and bought another one. That's the. I don't think you get it actually. But listen, by all means, tell me that I don't get it. But I don't know. I've been working in youth football for a very long time, man, and it's not happening. These youngsters they're not getting the chance. This is the perfect time to bring through youngsters right now, because right now there's a bit of a pass. If we don't get top 4, if we don't get top 6 this year, fans aren't going to turn on the manager because they're going to say it's a transition year. These things take time. You know, give him a chance. So if this is the year to give the team a chance and don't worry about top 4 and top 6 because we're building, now's the time to bring through the youngsters. Now's the time to do it because the pressure's off of getting top 4. When the pressure is on to get top 4 and now your job is on the line, like it was with Conte, like it was with Poch, Nuno, Jose, and every other manager, when the pressure's on, I'm telling you, no manager's taking a risk with a young kid. No chance. Because it's your job. Now's the time to do it. We sold Stephen Corker for 8 million. Do you know what? I think that's the player I'm thinking about because that makes more sense. It was Stephen Corker actually. It wasn't Carl Walker-Peters. It was Stephen Corker. Corker's the one. Yeah, that's the one. It is because that was round about that time back then, round about the Carl Norton time. I see what you're saying, Stel. But tell me what is wrong with like what I'm trying to put here. Tell me how these young players, Alfie Devine, How many minutes has he had pre-season? He had one 45-minute spell, and that was it. That was it. He didn't play against young City Sailors, a rubbish team that we should have put a lot of academy kids in. He didn't play against Shakhtar. Do you think Alfie Devine is going to get minutes, or is Alfie Dorrington going to get minutes against Barcelona? Of course not. How does Tanganga still count as academy at 24? He came through the academy, Cube. That's the point I'm making. He come through the academy. He's not a young player anymore, though. No, at 24, he's not. I get your point. I don't think he's failed. I just don't think, like Oliver Skipp, he hasn't been in a team in a positive environment with one manager for 3 years to develop the group. Harry Kane's very lucky that he had one manager for 5 years, Poch, to develop and evolve the unit, and the environment was good. That was the right environment to develop a young player in. Even Arsenal, they kept Arteta, so he was allowed to build the environment. That's why bloody hell. That's why Emil Smith-Rowe and Saka have done so well, because Arteta was there long enough to develop the environment. I always talk about this. The most important thing when coaching young players and even adults is the environment, even work. When you go to work, your working environment is the most important thing for a productive workforce. If the working environment is not, at the top of priorities, you're going to find failures. And the environment at Spurs for the last 4 years has been shocking. It's been unacceptable, to be honest with you, for a top 6 club. So this is why I defend the players like Tanganga and Skipp. And a lot of the new signings we should defend as well. We should, because they've been in that environment as well. The players I won't defend are the ones that have been here for 10 years and they've been rubbish for all that time. So, or more than, or just a long period of time, like Sanchez, Ben Davies, Dyer. For them, I've got no more patience with all time. Stel, to be honest, would you be satisfied with Tanganga and Austin starting for Spurs? I'll be satisfied with them being given a proper chance under this manager over a period of time to then make the decision. That's what I would like. Austin has been doing super well when he joins the England youth setup. Has Vicario been amazing? Has Vicario been, wow, what a goalie? No. But then you're going to say to me, not you, but people are going to say to me, oh, but he needs time to settle in. Well, Brandon Austin needs time to settle in as well, right? I just think we shit on our academy, man. Listen, I don't see the point of our academy at the moment. It makes no sense having it. As it stands, it makes no sense. Spence has died. I wonder. Listen, Jed Spence at the time was a club signing. When people like me said, Conte's not being backed, these aren't Conte's players. He's having to deal with things that he doesn't need. Now, Postecoglou, the amazing Postecoglou, the rebuild magician, well, guess what? He doesn't want him either. So what? Is Postecoglou rubbish as well now? Of course he's not. Conte wasn't rubbish. Postecoglou's not rubbish. We're signing players we don't want. Everyone overhyped Jed Spence. So it's a little weird to see your action place right behind you while you're talking to us. All right. Sorry, man. This is the only room I get good internet in. Anywhere else in my house, my internet's... I mean, the internet here is not great, but anywhere else it's awful. Jaffet burst onto the scene looking great and then was written off. It makes no sense at all. I believe he is for sale now. I think we will sell Jaffet Tanganga. He'll be one of these players. Number 3, make money for the club. The purpose of the academy. He'll be under that category. Like most of our academy players. He's just a kid. I would stick with him and let him develop. I agree. Surely Spurs should be buying in elite young players from other academies. Well, if we're going to buy them in, then we're not developing, are we? We're spending money. The whole point of the academy is you don't spend big money. From what you're saying, it's pointless. Well, I would like someone to tell me why the academy is not pointless. Let's flip it. Can anyone in the chat tell me how the academy right now is not a pointless exercise? Still, the academy players are not good enough. Yes, they are. There's a reason why Paratici tried to blow up your youth structure. What, the crook? Paratici, the convict? Yeah, that's the last person I'm going to listen to. I think most players from all academies do not make it. Correct. Most players do not make it. They do end up going to play for lower league or lower level clubs. The point is that once in a generation, you might be lucky enough to get a cane. No, that's just something Spurs have been brainwashed into, because if you look at Ajax, every year academy players come through. If you look at Barcelona, every year academy players come through. Those academies are primarily to develop players for the first team. If you go to Argentina, where we signed this youngster, Veliz, they bring through the academy players early doors because they don't have the money. A lot of clubs outside the Premier League don't have money. So they develop the academy players. They put a massive priority on it. They get them in young and they just take the hits and develop the player. And eventually some do well, some don't. It's just that at Tottenham, we've been brainwashed. We've been fooled into thinking, oh, as long as we get Harry Kane every 10 years, that's a good job. No, that's not. That's just the way we've been taught. We've learned bad habits, and we're picking up bad ways of thinking at Tottenham. This ownership has wrecked so much of the footballing side of the club, but we accept it, and we shouldn't accept it. I disagree with you on this one, Stuart. The Atletico Bilbao, Seville, so many clubs in France, they develop the youngsters. It's just here. It's this quest for top four. It's this quest to make money. I don't understand why we have an academy. I really don't. There's the academy, and the lavish facilities are all for show. A vanity project. Is it the loan choices we make that is the problem rather than the academy? So it's a bit of both. It's a bit of both, to be fair. It's a combination of the two. Rank these players who came out of our academy: Ledley King, Harry Kane, he who shall not be named. Sol Campbell, okay. Well, Harry Kane's the best of the lot, then Ledley King, then Judas. But the thing is, they got minutes, they got chances. Amoyo was at Spurs. My point is, why did he leave? Oh, right, sorry, beg your pardon. No, I didn't say that. Didn't I? Well, the reason he left is what I explained earlier on, AO. We lack recognizing to allow players to go out on loan more often. Plus, there's no viable route into the first team. Like, if you're Brandon Austin, or if you are Alfie Whiteman, and you see Vicario signed, why are you going to stay at Spurs? Surely you're speaking to your agent saying, I've been here from a young age. I'm now 24. They're going to get rid of Lloris. They're going to replace Fraser Forrester. Here's my chance. And then you see a young goalie come in, signed from overseas. If you're Brandon Austin or if you're Alfie Whiteman, one of you is going to be number 3. One of you is now going to be third choice, exactly where you've been for the past 3-4 years. So what's the point? So they leave. This is what happens. They leave because there's no first team opportunities at the club. Let's go into the midfielders, and you'll see nothing changes. Nothing changes. So at the club, we've got Basuma, Højbjerg, Ndombele, Bentancur, Lo Celso, Maddison. Average age 26, 27. We've got Oliver Skip, who does get minutes, but he needs to develop under one manager, like I explained. And then you've got Alfie Devine. If you're Alfie Devine, what chance have you got when, again, we've put a barrier in the way, Pape Sarr? Not only was Pape Sarr a barrier, a young player that we signed, but Maddison's come in. Lo Celso's getting a second chance. We signed Basuma last year. Basuma, Maddison, and Lo Celso are a barrier for Alfie Devine. We had an opportunity to bring in Alfie Devine. We didn't do it. And we signed Pape Sarr. Why sign Pape Sarr if you've got Alfie Devine? Not that I think Pape Sarr is a bad player, but I'm just asking, if you've got an academy player there, where's the progression? You've also got Harvey White. Where's the progression for Alfie Devine? It keeps happening. So where would your patience be if you bludge young players and the results aren't there? You'd be calling for Angie's head. Are you talking to me or are you talking to someone else? Jesus, Jerry Vodka, thanks for watching the show. Everyone, please like and subscribe. Appreciate the support. Who is your comment to Jesus? Years ago, I went to an under-18 FA Cup match to see John Bostock, and the best player on the pitch was Andros Townsend. He should have had his whole career with Spurs. Such a shame. There's no pathway for our academy players. There really isn't a pathway. Amayo said he choose Southampton because of the clear pathway. Exactly. Spot on. There is no pathway because we keep putting obstacles in the way. Unfortunately, footballers' careers are shorter than all of ours, so 24 is like a few years of peak career. Correct? I can agree with that. So where would your patience be if your blood's in... Okay, I don't know. I've already gone through that one. If that's to me, then explain to me what it is I said that you're questioning. If it's to someone else, then put their name first and know it's addressed to them. Over the course of 19 years, only Ledley King came and really established themselves from the first team academy. They're the only ones who got a proper chance under one manager. There wasn't too much chopping and changing. We should now bring the younger in and forget this season. I've said that from the start of the rebuild. If we're really going to rebuild, that's what we should do. Dan says, I don't know if they do it anymore. I remember seeing preseason games where first team and youngsters were mixed against teams like St Albans. Could see futures. Yeah, they do. That's called the under-23s. No, it's the under-21s, but they allowed a couple of under-23s and I think some older players in. Yeah, we don't do that anymore. We kind of stopped doing that. I do agree with you, but most clubs do loan out their young prospects. Yeah, but we don't loan them out enough when we should as well. You know, we do loan out our players, but we don't do it enough. So then they're stuck at the club training with the first team, which is great because they're around senior players, which is a great learning curve. But what really makes you a good football player is playing football. Where are you getting your game time, your competitive game time? You're not getting it if you're sticking around the club. Spurs looking for an under-13 assistant coach. Go and develop the youth. Soph, great idea. But the problem is the gap between 18 to 21. Tanganga gets way too much hate from our fans. Kid has been flung in 3 different positions. Exactly. 3 different positions, 4 different managers. The wrong environment to be nurturing talent. But most fans will just trash him and trash Oliver Skip. They're all rubbish. They're all rubbish. Bang average. I get your point, but most of our players we know are not up to it. So therefore, why don't the academy players come in and take place and get a chance? So academy would learn nothing good if picked. Listen, as much as fans might not like Højbjerg, he can teach the academy players something. He can teach them something. Just as much as we might not like Ndombele, I'm sure he can teach them how to take on a player. I'm sure he can teach them some skills. Maybe not work ethic, maybe not attitude, but skills, you can learn something. Very few youngsters make it, correct. Excellent talents always come through. Not necessarily. A lot of talent gets washed away. How can you judge Vicario yet? That's ridiculous. I'm not judging Vicario. I'm just saying what's so wow about him that he goes ahead of Brandon Austin and Alfie Whiteman. That's what I said. Brandon Austin had 45 minutes, conceded 1 goal. Alfie Whiteman Sorry, Vicario has played, I think, 2.5 games. Was it 2 games? He's conceded 4 goals. I don't see what's so amazing about Vicario that he goes ahead of Brandon Austin and Alfie Whiteman and they don't get a chance. That's the point I'm making. By signing Vicario, you're basically saying to Brandon Austin and to Alfie Whiteman, no, you're not going to get this chance. He's ahead of you. You've blocked the pathway. That's the point I'm making. What you're doing is you're changing the narrative of what I'm trying to say. I don't think you can judge Vicario, but I don't think you can judge Brandon Austin or Alfie Whiteman either. The same has to be applied. Tanganga needs to leave for himself. He's not getting what he needs. I believe he needs to go as well because I think all our youngsters should leave because none of them are going to get a crack at the whip. With your logic, let's get rid of Ange. No, because he's the manager of the first team and the first team needs a manager because the first team has a different target to the academy. So no, that's not my logic. You're trying to be smart, Mike. I've been doing this for 11 years, youth football. I go into the Spurs Academy 3-4 times a year. I know how it works. I know what they're trying to do. I know what the obstacles are that they face. Ferguson at Man United would have gone with your mentality. No, he wouldn't, because I never wanted Conte sacked. I never wanted Poch sacked. I never wanted Mourinho sacked. And I don't want Ange sacked. You're not listening to what I'm saying. I said the environment is the most important thing at a football club. Keep a manager there for 3-4 years and let him build the environment. How can I say that and then want the manager sacked? What you're saying is a lie. I don't understand what you're doing here. That's not what I've said, not one bit. Sorry, nice try, but I don't. Spot on Stel, we slag off players like Skip massively when he's on to manager number 5. Exactly. 5 managers, 5 philosophies, 5 ways of playing, 5 positions. It doesn't make sense. Stel, do you think Chris Powell is a good coach? Yeah, I do. Chris Powell is a good coach. My answer is yes. Big up, Stel. Hope you are well, my friend. Hope you're well as well. Stel, what are your thoughts on punting? Sorry, what are your thoughts on punting £10 million on the academy players like Southampton did with Levia, Merento, Charles? Was it? I think it defeats the object of an academy. The whole point of an academy is to develop players that are homegrown, that love the club, that only know Tottenham, and for it not to cost a lot of money. Look, Harry Kane cost 100k to develop. That's the whole point, isn't it? It's a far less expensive exercise. So I'd like to see the academy do what Ajax does, what Barcelona does, what Seville does, what a lot of French clubs do, what quite a few Belgian clubs do. I'd like to see us do what they do. And the academy is given a lot of importance, and those players go into that first team and given a real chance. And and whichever manager comes in, that continues. But the problem is we change managers so often at Spurs, and we change ideas and we change direction that it's almost like, let's throw something at the wall and whatever sticks, we'll stick with it until it falls off the wall. Then we'll start throwing other stuff. There's no plan. There's no long-term thinking for the academy. It's just this big vanity project that Levy just wants to say, yes, it's about the academy. It's not. Our academy does not make sense. I'm right, CMO. Hope you're well. Still, is it too late for the academy now? Would you say? It's never too late. I just don't think. When I see the transfers we're bringing in, it says to me that we're not supporting the academy. We're putting obstacles. Look at the striker. Look at the forwards. Let's look at the forwards. Right. So I'm talking about the players that play across the front 3, assuming we play with the front 3. Okay. So we've got Kulusevski, Harry Kane, Heung-min Son. They're the front 3. What did we then do? We signed Manor Solomon, Richarlison, and even Perisic. you've got Dane Scarlett and Troy Parrott waiting to break in. Okay, everyone keeps saying to me, Dane Scarlett's going to be amazing. Dane Scarlett's going to be the next Harry Kane. I think Dane Scarlett looks like a very promising young player. But we then go and sign Brian Hill, another obstacle. But we've just signed Alejo Veliz. Guys, we've just signed a 19-year-old striker when we've already got a 19-year-old striker called Dane Scarlett. Tell me how we are pushing our academy players. I guarantee you, Kulusevski, Solomon, Kane, Richarlison, Son, Perisic, none of them are going to be sold this window. None of them. I bet they all stay at Spurs. Brian Hill, he's injured, so we can't sell him. And we've just signed a player. If you're Dane Scarlett, you're not going to get a chance. Tell me how Dane Scarlett breaks into the team when we've just signed Alejo Veliz. Do we need to sign Alejo Veliz when we've got Dane Scarlett there? No. Let Dane Scarlett be the player, the next one in line. Instead, we put another obstacle in the way. And then people want to argue with me today. I don't understand it. I don't get it. It doesn't make any sense. Morning, Matt. How you doing, buddy? Alfie should progress by training against these older men on the training ground. He does. He trains with the first team, Stuart. Eventually, he'll reach a point where he's competing with them or better than them. Would rather that than no. The problem with that is he's not getting minutes, match day minutes. And what really develops a player isn't the training ground. The training ground is where you learn. That's where you load up the player with the ammunition. But then you need to go into battle and learn how to use that ammunition. When is he going into battle? He's never playing matches. Alfie needs game time. He needs regular football, competitive football on a regular basis. Where's he getting that from? This is the problem. This is why we're not making the jump from 18 to 21 with our youngsters. They're not bridging the adult gap. Disabled team. Our club's frightened of using young players because of fear. I don't think it's clubs. I think this is Tottenham. Tottenham have got a problem. Clubs frightened of using young players because of fear of losing table positions. Correct. It's yes. The answer is yes. The disabled team. That equals money, and that's what. Well, it doesn't just equal money. It equals your job. Managers at Spurs tend to get sacked if they don't get Europe. Typically, they get sacked. If Ryan Mason finished top 4, do you think he would have been sacked? Do you think he would have kept the job? I think he might have kept the job. But finishing 8th, it was game over, right? I like when we bought young Lennon, both Carls, Andy Reid, Dawson House, and Anthony Gardner. Some of them, yeah. I'm not sure about Anthony Gardner or Andy Reid. Carl Walker, yeah. Lennon, yeah. Huddleston. Huddleston was good. It's just his agility let him down, I think. Arteta out. He still can't make good subs. Skip head under 7 managers. Big up Stel. I'm from St Albans. Big up the Hertfordshire crew. It was like Tottenham 11 versus whoever last time. I saw the likes of Ginola, etc., and a load of youngsters play. That was good development for the youth, in my eyes, and supporters could see the future. Yeah, it's changed though now, hasn't it, Dan? Guy can teach the youngsters how to tell everyone else when he makes mistakes. Yeah, so there's some players cubed that shouldn't be teaching anyone. Dyer's definitely one of those. It must be hard for academy players when the style of football in the first team keeps changing. Also, Mourinho and Conte don't blood young players. You know this when they are given the job. Okay, 2 things. The style of football doesn't matter because academy players aren't taught a style of football. They're taught something called 1v1 domination. Can you keep the ball in any situation without losing the ball in any formation? That's why Harry Kane has been able to play in any manager's system: England, Poch, Sherwood, Nuno, Conte, Stellini, Mason, and now Ange Postecoglou. He scored 4 goals the other day. Harry Kane can play in any system because he's been taught 1v1 domination. He's versatile. Spurs Academy players are taught versatility. They're not all good at it, by the way, as good as Kane, but they're taught to adapt to formations because Spurs know that the manager won't last very long in general. So because the owners know that managers don't last often, the academy teaches our players to be able to adapt to any formation and system, which is actually a good thing. Can I say that's actually a good thing? I know a lot of you might disagree, but that is a good thing because things do change and you need to be able to adapt to change. What's hard for our players is they don't get game time in the first team. Mourinho and Conte do blood in young players. They have, was it Barella and Bastoni? Bastoni was a very young player at Inter Milan. That was under Conte. I remember Mourinho gave 1 or 2 youngsters at Man United a chance. Maybe they don't do it as often, but they do bring through young players, but not as much as maybe as what we would like. He goes ahead of Whiteman and Austin because he played a couple of years in professional senior football, whereas the other 2 haven't. That's the problem, Michael. That's the problem. They're not getting those professional opportunities. They're not getting those minutes. What you've said here is exactly what I'm trying to say. We're not giving our youngsters those minutes. Instead, we're putting an obstacle in front of them. We're bringing in players instead. So how do our youngsters develop? How do you do it? The goals, top 4 and titles, so we can forget about academy players. That's what I'm beginning to think. Anyway, either way, our academy players are screwed. Really need to redevelop the thought process and giving these players a chance to develop massively. Or just shut the academy down. Save yourself money. It's also exciting as a fan to see academy players coming up and pushing first teamers for place. Everybody seems to pick on you, Stel. Maybe it's because people don't like to hear the truth. I think it's because people don't know what they're talking about half the time, if I'm going to be really honest with you, without being rude to anyone. A lot of people say things without knowing what they're talking about. If I say something today, all right, I might make the odd mistake, but in general, I know what I'm talking about. I've been working in youth football and I've regularly provided Tottenham's academy with players. They sign my players. I know the recruitment guys. I know the head coaches. I know the scouts. I know how Spurs are. I know the frustrations of the academy. If you were to meet the coaches in the academy, if you were to meet the recruitment guys, they are so frustrated. They're frustrated with why the players, they're told to do a job, they're doing the job, but then the last bit is out of their hands. They don't pick the players for the first team. They don't then say, right, please take these players and develop them, give them minutes. They have no say in that. It's frustrating. It's a very frustrating stepping stone, that final piece of the pathway. Do you have 2 watches on? No, this is my watch. This is a Zoom, but it's just on the battery. It's charging. It's not a watch. This is like a fitness monitor. Tells me lots of details about my fitness throughout the day. It does look like a watch, though. I must say, this does look like a watch. This is a battery. You are 100% right about throwing stuff against the wall. Yeah, it's the Tottenham way. That's why we have failed for 23 years. There's no plan. And I'm telling you now, there's no plan. I'm looking at it. I can't see the plan. It doesn't make sense. Brian Hill is a talent, to be fair. Is he? Is he fit for the Premier League? We don't know. If we sign Gift Orban, yeah, another obstacle. But people are going to say to me, be patient, give it a chance. it was always said under Fergie Maynard that any player from the youth setup could come into the first team, learn the tactics and ethos to play because they mirrored it in the academy. There's nothing wrong doing it that way. Ajax do it that way. Barcelona do it that way. And I've got no issue if Tottenham went down that route. The problem is, then two things must happen. Number one, you can only hire managers for the first team that match the philosophy of the club. Otherwise, you cannot hire that manager. So you can't bring in a Nuno, you can't bring in a Conte, a Mourinho. You can never, ever do that again. And number two, all the hard work you've done with the players, you're going to have to start all over again. So that's okay if you're 8, 9, 10 years old, you can reprogram. But if you're 15, 16, 17, coming to the end of your academy journey, you can't just reprogram them because they've been trained from 9, 10, 11, 12. So you're going to have to give it 10 years to see the fruits of the to bear the fruits of the hard work you put in. So to do that is a 10-year plan minimum. Are we going to be patient for 10 years? We're not patient for 2 weeks at Tottenham. So yes, we can do it that way, and I've got no objection to it. But that's going to take a lot more patience than what we're already showing. That's the only thing. That's all. God knows what formation they're teaching it. Well, our academy teach 4-3-3. That's the formation they do mostly, more than anything else. Guess what? Postecoglou plays 4-3-3. The academy teaches 4-3-3. That's their go-to formation. But it's not about formation. It's about players having the technical ability to play football, make excellent decisions in any given scenario, in any formation. That's what you're supposed to develop. Our fans need to get it out of their heads. They need to stop playing this guessing game. By the way, this isn't directed to you, Stuart. I hear it all the time. An academy, you are developing the player, not the team. We've all said today that most players don't make it. So you're not going to bring through a squad of 11 players. It's about developing the individual. The focus is on the individual, not the team. The individual will succeed in a team as long as the individual's good and they get game time. This is fundamental to youth coaching. Even at Ajax, even at Barcelona, they develop the individual. Do you think when Messi was at Barcelona, they developed the team or they developed Messi? They developed Messi. And Messi was that good, he can play in any system, any formation. So focus on the player, not the team. When it's the first team, it's about the team. When it's academy, it's about the player. Got to separate the two. Think of it this way: academy, player. First team, team. There's a separation there, and that's the bridge that the young players have got to make the jump to. Spurs used to loan the campaigns to Millwall. We used to loan players. We should be loaning players more to Premier League clubs, I think. Should Spurs find a club where they loan academy players to? Yes, we should. But those clubs are going to need the positions that we are lending as well, though. There's no good loaning out Dane Scarlett to a club that we've got a partnership with if they don't need strikers. Then that doesn't work, right? Scarlett didn't do that great on his Portsmouth loan last season. He came on with a splash first game or two, then sort of fell apart after that. Listen, I'm not jumping on the Dane Scarlett hype train. He looks like a promising young player. He's showing signs of being a good player, but until he gets regular minutes, no one will ever know. So, just to recap, the goalkeepers. We've got 2 academy players ready to go, but we've bought someone instead. Defenders, we've got a number of young defenders ready to have a go, but we've bought 3 players instead. Midfield, we've got 2 players ready to go. One's kind of in there, you could say we skip, but we've bought Pape Sarr, we've bought Maddison, we've bought Bissouma. And with the strikers, we've got, forwards, we've got 2 ready to go, but we've bought 2 as well. So I just don't understand why we've got an academy at the moment. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand why there's an academy at Spurs, guys. If you can tell me why we've got it and what it's doing, let me know. But as it stands right now, it doesn't make any sense having an academy. We're not using it to develop and bring through players into the first team, and we seem to be using it more to sell and make money, which makes no sense. Because great, you sell an academy player for 10 million, but then we're spending 20, 30 million buying Jed Spence. You sell an academy player for 5 million, great. Well, we've just bought Ashley Phillips for 9 million. So we're not even covering the cost of the players we're buying. Bring through the youth. They're there. They're ready to go. Give them a chance. They're not even getting a chance. Ten Hag wants the youth sides to copy the first team for us now. Because he's come from Ajax, and that's the Ajax model. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. There's nothing wrong with doing that. As long as after Ten Hag, you bring in a manager just like Ten Hag, then it works. Otherwise, it will collapse on you. The whole thing will come crashing down on you. And it's going to take 10 years for your academy to become what Ajax is and have that uniformity throughout the academy. It's going to take a very, very long time. So don't expect this massive change because Ten Hag said that. Ten Hag joined Ajax, a club that already had that in place for 30, 40 years because of Johan Cruyff. Ten Hag, when he became manager at Ajax, he joined a club that already had that in place. If he's going to change it at Man United, you're going to need 10 years. I've been to the Ajax Academy. It's a wonderful, wonderful learning environment. The quality of coaches is the best I've seen anywhere. The Ajax Academy is a fantastic institution. Honestly, the whole world should look at clubs like Ajax and say, that's the benchmark. How do we replicate that? I've got so much respect for what Ajax do. So much respect. It's a brilliant, brilliant football club. But they've been doing it for 40 odd years, 30 years. We can't compare. We can't compare to, the old dog, the OG, to what we do at Spurs. I think Man United in general has always had a good academy, to be fair. You've always had a good academy at Man United. You do a lot of good things there. Please like, subscribe. Big up, big up, big up. Skip, sending him to the Canaries helped him, but Skip and first team, not too much. Premier League loan, better than Tier 2. Yes, I agree. Premier League loan is better than Tier 2. Troy Parrott only 21. I bet he feels like a pension. Troy Parrott isn't going to get a chance at Spurs, guys. Troy Parrott will not play for Spurs. I'll be stunned if you see him play for Spurs. Continuity is an issue with the academy. A clear plan, philosophy, and culture needs to be implemented and oversee this. And we change the football structure every 18. Okay. In terms of personnel structure, you're spot on. We chop and change the staff too much in the academy. I fully agree with you, Rich. In terms of a clear plan and philosophy and culture, we've already got that. The academy has got a plan, it's got a philosophy, and it's got a culture. It works. The problem is, and I repeat because you've only just joined, to bridge the gap from 18 to 21, from youth to adult, it's not the academy's job. That's the job of the first team. That's the job of the pressure that the first team is under. We can't blame the academy for that. We would rather spend 40 million signing, Van der Ven. Yeah, we'd rather spend 40 million signing Mickey Van der Ven than giving Charlie Sawyers or Alfie Dorrington a chance. That's the reality of it, guys. We would rather sign Ashley Phillips at 18 years old when we've already got an 18 and 19-year-old, Charlie Sawyers and Dorrington. This is the problem. Any which way you want to look at it, this is the problem. We are blocking the pathway. I think the disabled team were right. Fans don't want to hear this. They don't want to hear the reality of it. You've got Dane Scarlett ready to go, 19 years old. Dane Scarlett, 19 years old. Instead, we sign Alejo Veliz, 19 years old, same age. What is the point of Dane Scarlett? What's the point if you're just signing players instead? There's no pathway to the first team, and then fans want to blame managers. I don't get it. I just don't understand this. It doesn't make any sense to me. Love how Ajax says to the public, if your child has quality, we already know about him. Ajax is a different breed of club. Good night, Cube. Thank you for joining me. Nice teddy bear. Big up. By the way, that teddy bear, because sometimes people laugh at it. I know Cube's not laughing. My mum died 2 years ago, and that's something she gave me when I was a kid, so I've kept it as a memory of my mum. So just so people know, in case they try to take the piss. Fun fact, Ten Hag was coaching the Bayern youth team before he became first team coach in the Netherlands. Ten Hag's an excellent coach, guys. He's an excellent manager. I wanted him at Spurs. He's the manager I wanted, but we weren't prepared to pay the release clause. Is City's academy the best in England? It's going to be the best, yes. It will be the best. 100%. Chelsea's is the best up until what City are doing, but City will have the best academy. Par example of loan out to Premier League club, Brentford needs someone till Tony gets back. Right, I'm off to watch Iggy's morning video, and I suppose after that I better do some work. Big up, Sophie. Enjoy your day. I'm going to wrap it up as well, guys. I've been going longer than what I wanted, but I wanted to take as many of your comments as I possibly could. Big up the teddy bear. Big up, Phil, my man. My man. Philip. Eric Dyer blocking the academy coming through. Yes. Eric Dyer 100% blocks the academy coming through. Absolutely ridiculous. Jed Spence will have cost 12.5 million and none of his add-ons. I know. It's insane. Big up Brian Daigle. Everyone subscribe and like to Tottenham on tour as well. Ron says, my name is Jeff. All right, I'm just going to do a quick recap and then I'm going to wrap it all up. So the question today that I posed was, what's the point of the Spurs Academy? So wonderful venue, state-of-the-art, modern, £40 million complex, state-of-the-art facilities, hotel. The academy players train there. They've won trophies being developed there. But we keep letting players go. Bennett's, Madueke, Edwards, Serki, Markandi, because they're not getting a chance in the first team. I explained to you how the academy's job is to develop players for the first team, for the squad, and to make money for the club. Harry Kane cost £100,000 to develop. If we sell him for 100 million, that is a profit of 99.9 million based on his development costs. And when we look at what's going on at Spurs right now, and this is under Postecoglou, this isn't against Postecoglou. I'm just saying it doesn't matter who the manager is. This keeps happening. There's a chance for Brandon Austin and Alfie Whiteman to be the next goalkeeper at Spurs because the Reece and Foster are aging. Instead, we sign a player rather than using an academy player. Defenders, we've got Charlie Sawyers, Dorrington, Tanganga. Forget Tanganga, actually, because he's already in the team. Ashcroft, Linton, McKnight. There's players there, especially Dorrington and Sayers. They're ready to get a chance. Instead, we sign Adoji, Ashley Phillips, and Van de Ven. They're not getting a chance. Alfie Devine, 19 years old. Instead, we sign Pape Sarr. We sign Madison. We're not bringing through the youngsters. And as for the forwards, I just explained. Dane Scarlett, Troy Parrott, they're ready to break into the squad. Instead, in recent years, we've signed Richarlison, Brian Hill, and we've even signed a 19-year-old, same age as Scarlett, Aleko Veliz. Please tell me where our academy players are getting the chance. Where are they getting a real chance? What's the point of the Spurs Academy? It doesn't make any sense. I don't get it. If you can tell me, let me know, because I can't see it. It will pay for itself, and we hope to find We hope to find. That's the problem, isn't it? We hope. Whereas, do you think Ajax hope to find talent? Or do you think Ajax, no, we will make the talent? Do you think Barcelona hope to find talent? No, we make the talent. Do you think Seville hope to find? No, they make the talent. At Tottenham, we hope to win a trophy. We hope to bring through another talent. We hope it works out for Postecoglou. On the badge, it says to dare is to do, not we hope. I'm just saying, guys. I'm just saying. I agree the academy has gone array, but also bear in mind most clubs are punting £5-10 million on another academy. Look, there are other clubs that we could compare ourselves to. I agree, Danny. But I just want to focus on us. I don't want to look at what other clubs do. Oh, but they do it, Because I find that we make excuses when we do that. Oh, but that club did it, so it's okay for us. No. Why do we compare ourselves to Ajax, to Barca, to Seville, to a lot of French clubs that bring through those young players, to a lot of Portuguese clubs that do it as well? Sporting Lisbon, Porto. Why don't we do it that way? Surely that's the whole purpose of having an academy, or that should be the main purpose. Why spend £60 million on Richarlison and just give a couple of years to developing Dane Scarlett in the first team, and maybe Dane Scarlett will be the next Harry Kane? And it's a hell of a lot cheaper than 60 million. I don't know. I'm just saying. Maybe I'm applying common sense, and that's not the right way to go. Thank you, Danny. Big up. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell on the way out. And also make sure you subscribe to Tottenham on Tour. You know what they say, Stel, it's the hope that kills you. It's been killing us for 30 years, disabled team. It's been killing us every year. And on that note, I'm out of here. Until tomorrow.
The first game we look for, Robbie. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away. Tottenham away. When we got Tottenham away.